Alright, welcome back. So in this lesson, I want us to tie everything together and update our main .go file. So we have in our application struct, which we use for dependency injection, config logger models. Logger is still using the log.logger package or type, and so we will change this to use our JSON log.logger type. So it's a pointer to JSON log.logger. Alright, so now with that out of the way, I notice it's imported for us. Alright, so with that out of the way, we can go ahead and make changes where we are referring to logger. So if we come down, okay, here we created a logger. Well, not here, but up here, we created a logger, and this was using the built-in standard library logging facility. So let's change that and let's have it logger be of type JSON log. Okay, and we're going to create a new logger, and we need to provide out min level. So out will be os.stdout. We're going to keep that, and the min level will be JSON log dot level info. All right, so obviously these will break because there is no fatal method. So let's update this. We're gonna have logger dot print fatal, and we need to provide error on properties. Error will be error, and we don't have any properties because we'll be printing, so nil. And again here where we are doing print line, we don't have print line, but we do have print info. Okay, so let's remove this and put print info, and of course again we'll just put nil for properties. All right, any more? Yeah, we have a few more changes to make. So let's come down where we're starting the server. We want to change this, so it's gonna be print info, and okay, let's change that, and let's make a few changes. Let's just say starting server. Okay, so we're gonna have starting server, and then we need our properties. So I'm just gonna have a map type string, okay, and then okay, let's remove one of them. Okay, so for the properties, right, so remember print info expects the message and it expects properties, and so we're going to have two properties. One is going to be address, so ADDR, and we will have srv.adr. The other one, of course, will be the environment, so env, and that of course will come from cfg.env. All right, again, nothing new. We're just updating the logging facility. And of course, we have one more. Put nil here. So it's going to be print fatal. Okay, let's save that. Do we have anything else to update? No, we don't. All right. So let's save this. Let's start terminal. Open a terminal. All right. Any errors is saying. Oh, okay. So yeah. All right. So it's telling me that I have an error, which is correct. I do have an error. So thank you. So we were referring to logger in errors that go. Okay. So in errors that go, I am still referring to print line, but we don't have a print line. We have a print info. But in this case, this is dealing with errors. And so to fix this, all I'm going to do, since we're printing errors, I'm just going to do the print error method. So print error. And we're going to pass in, you have the error and the properties. So error is, of course, ERR. And properties, well, let's create a property. Good. All right, and let's add these properties. Let's just say that the request method that caused this error is r.method. Okay, let's say that the request URL that caused this error, or where this error occurred, is r.uRL dot, let's convert that to string. Okay. Okay. So our URL is a string. So it will work. So now we have two properties that help us with when we display this log error message. All right, let's save that. I don't think there's anything else to update to the logger, and so I will just run my server. And notice now that we have the logging info as JSON, as a JSON format, or in a JSON format. Let's start another server just to verify that we get error messages. Okay, so here we're getting that, and so it's telling me that there is our runtime. So notice this stack trace is being printed, and then of course we're going to exit because we did os.exit after we printed the fatal message. Okay, so that works. So we're back here and we are good. Now there's one minor tweak I want to make, and it's the fact that the server itself, let me open back the server. Here. The server itself, if there's some error that the server sends back to us, maybe that some port, some connection failed or some such thing, then that logging of that message that's coming from the HTTP server will still be sent to the default logger, all right? And so it will not be sent to our logging facility with JSON encoding and so on. So if we want to keep everything standard, we can update our server parameters. Like this is our server. We can update our server parameter so that we can specify how error messages emitting from our server gets displayed. And so all I'm going to do is to say error log. That's a field. And error log specifies an optional logger for errors, accepting connections, and so on. All right? Good. So we will provide our own that the server will use to write logging information to. So let's create a new, right? And all we have to do is to specify the logger we're going to use, which in our case is logger, right? And it needs a prefix and it needs a flag. We don't need to worry about prefix because our logger deals with that, and we'll just set the flag to 0. All right, and that's it. So now any errors or any logging that needs to be done that is generated by the server will be handled by our logging instance. Let's save that and let's run our server again. Okay, it works. Let's just ensure that everything still works. Okay, so everything still works. All right, so that brings us to the end of this section. In the next video, I want us to wrap up on logging by discussing another feature of our logging facility and how we can use logging to better give our admin or give us the ability to properly diagnose errors. I'll see you in that lesson.